Welcome back, friends, to Occultists Anonymous and our Mage the Awakening Chronicle Into the West. Hey, I did it right on this one. We're back with more vignettes. If you've hopefully been watching all of them, you know we're in for a wild ride, as I said in the last one. If you missed the other one, so if you watched Chris's and missed Ralph's, what are you doing? Go watch all of these, because you're going to want to see all of them, because things are a-changing. Craig has no idea what happened in the other vignettes. I gave threats of what potentially could happen to Theodosia, but otherwise we're on for a fun little adventure here. As always, thank you to everybody who follows, subscribes, shares, tells your friends, all that kind of stuff. But a special shout out to our patrons: 1D4Con James, Adele, Alis, Alexander, Alstrit, Bernie, Chris, Doc, Emil, Jeff, George, I'm Lonely, Hi Lonely, I'm Dad, Cat Feathers, Klaus, Milo V3, Moku, Mozart D Minor, MTG Gamer, Nick, Other Guy, Perry, Foog, Polka Dot Hubris, Puppeteer, Riafio, Shaxara, Starfish, Terran, This Is Hype, Thomas, Tom, Verhex, and Vortex. Thank you all so much for your support. It means a lot. When we last left the gang, y'all had had escaped from Isabel's dad. Mm-hmm. Getting stabbed, weird poison disease thing that Isabel just kind of flexed and was like, that's nothing. Would have been real bad. Black Plague, but kind of shrugged that off, and everybody kind of separated and went their own ways. Isabel going back to meet up with Jules and the kids, and with intentions of heading back to the Tempest. Legba wanting to delve. I actually think Legba headed home effectively, and I believe that's what Theo was planning to do: go and meet with Catherine and head home. So we can return there. If there's any immediate wrap up you want to do, otherwise we can step forward a few days, few weeks, as we find and see that the town is secure. Like there is no assault in retribution or anything like that.
And just for Theo's put a fourth dot into safe place, so her house is sort of a metaphysical fortress.
Yep.
By this point.
Yeah, a well-defended locale, but the rest of the town is still vulnerable, right? But
yeah.
yes.
So Theo's had a project on the go for a long time. It kind of occurred to her when she was basically stymied following her obsession.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just go around awakening people left, right, and center.
No.
So she's spent some time building. Besnick was like a first draft, but in secret she's been assembling something a little more dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
It's I've forged some pictures in Discord about it. The ceramic and brass and porcelain body.
Automaton?
Not exactly. It's not an automaton yet. It's not a golem yet. But she was looking at. I mean, she can put her soul in there, and maybe Legba can put her mind in there. Is that a thing that can happen? Because she's her thinking about the awakening and stuff is because awakening is all about the soul. But there's a whole other part that's also kind of important in this, the mind stuff. Why doesn't your mentally why isn't that involved in the awakening? So she's been trying to puzzle out what makes, like, why is the sole governor of an awakening when there's so many other things involved as well. So she's kind of looking to experiment with that.
Especially because, the soul is made up of all 5 subtle arcana, including mind, but it is also separate from the mind. So would you say that, after probably, especially with the advantage of matter magic, she kind of puts the finishing touches on what is the name? Lady Matronica?
Yeah. And like over the years, because she's working on this for a long time. Like the brass has been upgraded to orichalcum and
the
that kind of stuff.
the hot rod in the garage, right?
Yes,
just constantly
basically.
getting Mechanica, Lady Mechanica. Yes.
But she's been holding out because she knows that there's going to be some danger, because maybe once a mind is gone, it can't come back. Like she knows she can just plunk souls all over the place.
But she has no mind, so she has
no mind.
No idea. Yeah. And I know you, Craig, and Ralph have discussed this a little bit too. And Ralph isn't here, but we've discussed and that yes, Legbo would absolutely be here to assist. And so to kind of set the scene, I imagine we are in the lab. Lady Matronica is, I imagine, standing up. I don't feel like it's like the laid out Frankenstein thing. I feel like it's, stood, kind of pride of place, got a little spotlight on it, freshly.
Well, she's been keeping it in secret, so she would wave her hand at the wall, and the wall would open up, and she'd pull out the bench,
the Iron Man style, pull it open, and there's the suit. So your goal is to pull your soul out and put it in that.
Right.
And then Legba transfer the mind transfer your mind over as well. And then more or less
see if I can inhabit that simulacrum.
Yeah. Like it. Legba probably says something along the lines of, I'll do this if you ask, but are you sure? Though probably in a lot more words.
And the thing is, she's not sure, but she feels like this is the next step.
Right. Like there is progress to be made in this direction.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. You don't currently have the ability to pull out the awakened soul.
Oh, right.
Correct.
Because I haven't been investing.
Or hadn't been.
Well, since the understanding has been reached with her daemon.
And that's what I was going to ask.
Kind of leaning more heavily into that.
Yep. So I think this is the part where, Theo hasn't talked about it. Theo hasn't shown it off. Theo hasn't reached to it, but has known and has studied. And now kind of, and I'm playing your character here just a little bit, but feel free to adjust as this, but with a little bit of chagrin, kind of admits, actually, I've been dabbling with death. And we've talked about this before, that, some of the characters are a little leery about how casual Theo is about death and ghosts. And
I get what you're getting at. From Theo's perspective, though, it was her daemon that was keeping her. Because Theo wanted to explore death.
True.
But she didn't want to end up at the dead-end necropolis.
Right.
And she didn't know how to not get there. But they've worked that out now. So now she's able to lean into, because she wants to go that whole death route. She really wants it, but she didn't know what to do with it when she got there, basically. So now that she has a plan forward.
I like that.
The inter-cabal thing is an issue, but it wouldn't be something that would hold her back from exploring. It was all about her daemon.
Yeah, and I believe we've discussed this off stream, that it's less of the cabal dislikes what she does with death, and so much as they don't understand it because none of them have death. Very similar to how everybody reacted to Legba and casually using mind to understand people, and the looking into windows metaphor that had been done, where it's like, oh yeah, okay, I get it. So yeah, I like the idea that it's probably even more proudly than less chagrin of like, oh no, I had a good talk with my daemon, I can do this now. I like that. So knowing that once your soul has been removed, you will be unable to cast spells. Well, actually, no, that's a lie.
Well, my hope is that once I'm in the automaton mind and soul, that I will have access to supernal magic.
Yeah. Actually, because I realize Soulless, I think, actually still lets you cast spells. Let me double check.
Yeah, 0 willpower though.
Not initially. Soulless, just having the soul removed at all, can't regain willpower. Vice and virtue are swapped, which is a thing that you've probably studied pretty extensively. Enervated is the next step, wherein your willpower has dropped so much that can no longer regain willpower through virtue, only vice. And this is where mages begin to lose gnosis, because they lose gnosis every time their willpower drops to a minimum of 0. And then finally, it progresses to, whoops, I thought I knew which one it was. Thrall, wherein you are just completely gone, fully succumb to the effects of soullessness, cannot spend willpower for any reason, can't use defense, cannot spend XP. Mages can no longer cast spells. Okay, so
it takes some time.
Yeah. Now that said, you can spend the reach on Sever the Awakened Soul, which is what Atratus did back in Rookery, and said, no, you are done casting spells, and yoinked a guy's soul out. Yeah, if you haven't watched the Rookery, watch that, because it's a great scene.
It's a great scene.
She basically gives the mom finger and says no, and just stops the guy. Wonderful.
So I can't do conditional duration, but if I cast it with a rune,
you could just,
I could just wipe the rune to reverse it, right?
Yep. And you'll be capable of controlling spells. You will not be soulless, or you will not be thrall. So you're still even able to cast spells. So you could technically cast the spell to send it back over.
Well, but my mind is going as well.
Right. And so, right. I love the idea of like, oh yeah, this would be no big deal. And then, you and Legba going back and forth, scientifically almost being like, okay, and then this what? Well, what if this happens? Oh yeah. We need a backup for that. Okay, yeah. Rune's a good idea. We can just scuff that. The spell falls. Okay, what else? I imagine like one wall of the cave.
I was thinking about this.
And it's a big chalkboard-esque, like if this then that, like chart. And after having discussed that together, you begin, and it's a simple spell, really. Just pulling your soul out and flinging it over there, and it's uncomfortable. If you actually read the description here, you can't regain willpower through surrender and rest. Virtue and vice usage is swapped, and now every time you lean into your vice, it's a breaking point at a act of hubris with one single die down to 1 wisdom. It is not a pleasant feeling, and it definitely drives you towards your nastiest vice-ridden self. That's it. You're standing there looking at the automaton, with your soul in it, set up as a soul jar so it can contain it. Or I think Golem has it by default, which I imagine it is technically a Golem in terms of having the spell.
Not animated, but yeah.
Right. Because you didn't give it a basic mind. You left it empty to put a ghost or a spirit or a mind inside of. Right. I think both of you kind of sit with like a little bit of hesitation, like, and it remains inert. It has your soul sitting in it, but there's no motion. The eyes don't pop open or anything like that. There's soul
a will behind it, right?
Correct. Yeah, there is the motive force, to steal it from Warhammer 40k. The energy is there, but there's nothing to give it will. I like that idea. And so Legba looks over to you and says, "Are you ready?"
As ready as I'll ever be.
And like, good enough for him. There's a quick motion. Again, another very simple spell, especially since you guys are not playing with any kind of long durations, maybe an hour max duration, right? And you have what is equivalent to the psychic projection effect forced upon you. Is one of the mind spells, which allows you to just kind of remove your consciousness out of your body, flings it into twilight by normal, or into somebody's dreams. And so your consciousness pulls out of your body and you have a out of body experience. I imagine actually Legba either catches Theo and helps sit her down, or maybe you already started seated.
She would have been seated already, yeah.
And so you just have this out of body experience where you have just been removed from your body, and Legba kind of sits back and puts his hands on his cane, right? And, just, smiling, pleased, and kind of motions for you to move toward the golem, because he doesn't need to even put you in there. You are now psychically projecting. Oh. Your entire consciousness has been severed. This part is the easy part. This part is much easier than even the awakened soul thing. It's technically only mind 4. But now it's up to you to inhabit the thing, which is a matter thing, which is not his, and a little bit of death. And so he's now just like smiling, like you can see just that sense of the mind sight to see Goche, or in this case, a disembodied mind, and he motions you over. Everything for you is all kind of gray and, the twilight. You're very, very used to twilight.
Sight, right? Basically,
right. Say this is all mind. So for you, I imagine this feels like a very sterile twilight, right? Because death has a lot in twilight.
There's things there.
There's things there. There's the remnants of broken stuff. Ollie is hanging at your hip normally, stuff like that. And here it's nothing. You can see kind of like the Goetia that kind of makes up Legba, but not really, because that's in the astral. It's just there's the idea that it is a thinking thing, and there's nothing else here in the underground. There's nothing. It's very sterile, very, very dry.
All right. Let's get into Lady Mechanica.
And I imagine it's kind of like walking over and turning around and sitting down, right, resting into her. And did you say she was laid out or was standing?
Yeah, like on an angle.
Yeah, okay.
Platform.
Yeah, very Frankenstein. And you lay down into the golem, and it takes a minute to recognize that you have sunk into it and that you are in it. And there's a sensation of limbs now, but not like you don't have feeling, right? You don't have nerves, right there, but like all of a sudden you realize, oh no, I am in this thing, but I can't feel anything. So there's like the experimental hand lift, and you don't feel the hand lift. it just does. And so it's all
Oh, no proprioception. I have no idea where my limb is.
and
Have to look at it to see.
it is all entirely, I'm going to say mental, but like you don't even get the, hindbrain animal instinct stuff. Everything is exact thoughts. So,
Oh, and I would also be severed from my endocrine system. So super detached from my emotions.
yeah, it's very, very mental. And I imagine, some of those emotions went through, but you don't have the rush of adrenaline of this is working. It's just a very like, oh, hey, this is working. Good job, me. But it doesn't have that zing, right?
Yeah. So check articulation.
Yep. Which, kind of the whole you are now breathing manually kind of thing is you have to think of, okay, left index finger curl, right? You have these very, like, it's all quick and snappy, but you have to make very precise, methodical thoughts about it. And then you have this, as you're trying to move and trying to get natural, you also have this mental, probably comes across as horror, though you have enough composure to like handle it. But it's like, I'm not breathing. I have a body and I'm moving, but I'm not breathing. I need to breathe. No, I don't. This is fine. I don't feel, my chest isn't moving. I don't feel air coming. Yep. It's just like, yeah. Have that lovely little moment. And then probably once, well, sorry, you were saying you were going to do something as you were checking mobility.
Yeah, just checking articulation of the fingers and.
Yeah, the golem works wonderfully.
I will try and speak. Am I able to make any noise?
I mean,
I imagine that would be.
Did your golem? Was your golem built with a voice box?
Well, I don't. Craig doesn't know how that would work.
Right, because like that would be a very, very complex. Like golems aren't. They're supposed to be a statue.
Like Besnick grunts and stuff.
Right.
Sort of in an iron pit of his stomach
noise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no voice box.
So I'm not able to speak at all.
No. Now you're still telepathically linked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is another thing that I think you would like, where we're like, okay, no, that's fine. Our minds are still connected. We can still communicate.
Mm-hmm. If when she's done the check all the extremities, I think I'm going to try standing up.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay, balance is fine.
Yep, like it's, you don't have the.
I don't have an inner ear to help me with balance,
right?
So it's got to be all visual.
Yeah,
right?
so yeah, everything is visual. Everything is not even feel, because you can't you lift a foot to move, and you can't tell. You have to visually look down, and yes, foot is flat. Okay, I can now shift weight onto it. You're having some of these like first step kind of stuff, and then you have a realization that there is no joy. Okay, yeah, I see. There's levels of happiness and like, hey, we got this, but there is no joy from this, right? There is the mental aspect of, I'm happy that this is working, but the thing that kind of ties into like the human soul, the human experience, you are disconnected from.
Oh, she's not in touch with her soul.
No, it's probably something that, you would, look into, but it's very much like Goche is sitting up here in the head, pulling all the little levers and stuff like that. And then the soul is sitting down in the chest where the heart is, right? In the gut, whatever. And they're not connected in any way.
So what forms that connection. Okay. And I'm not really inhabiting. I'm basically just puppeting this animatronic figure around, really.
Now, that said, if you get into, the nitty-gritty of the biological side, I am not this flesh. I am the brain in
Mhm.
the skull case that is moving all this around. But yeah,
Sure, but your body also does a lot of things just on its own.
right. Yep. And you experience those things, and yep. We can get deep in the nitty gritty on what it means to exist and stuff like that. But yes, I think that is the stuff that is running through Theo's head right now, is this very dissociative experience.
Can she reach the supernal, like tap into magic from here?
Mm-hmm.
Does she have access to her mana and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
She can see her pattern, like she can activate mage sight? Or is that
Let me jump over here to psychic projection. Must use magic to affect anything.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think mage sight has always been more than just actual sight. So yes, I think, like, now that you are in Lady Mechanica, and you have the eyes that you created to see, and then you have the golem spell that makes them actually see without gizmos or whatever. I think that's probably the answer. You don't have a voice box. You don't need a voice box. You made a mouth to speak, and the golem spell does the rest of it. That's
okay, so I can.
Yeah, that probably makes a little. I forgot. Or hi, magic. Yeah, golem just makes the thing happen, right?
And I can hear.
Yes. Yep.
Auditory stimulus is still passing through.
Yeah, but
okay.
Yeah, there is still the disconnected sense of motion, and you kind of, because I feel like I remember you having had ghosts in golems before, or and this probably isn't exactly how they describe stuff, but similar in the fact that, like, it's nice to have a body, but it doesn't feel like being alive. And so you're having some of that. And obviously there are ghosts inhabiting a thing. You are just your mind, which is not exactly the same thing.
I think Theo will just like run a few more tests just to
try things.
That's just who she is. But then she'll rub out the rune.
Yep. And your soul zaps back over to your body, and actually you feel better. Like,
because my mind is still kind of tethered somehow.
Yeah, because your mind, your mind knows where it belongs, and technically when the spell ends, if your mental projection was killed, I should say, she returns back to her body with the soul shocked condition. So, like, there's still, invisibly, but with, mage sight that you don't have, you could probably even suss out that there's a connection right from the mental back to the body. But once your soul comes back, that ability to regain willpower normally, the way to rest, surrender, all that kind of stuff comes rushing back. So it was separated from the body. Now that it's returned, you feel better, even though you are not in your body.
Okay, she'll ask Ligbet to end the spell.
Yep, and snap of his fingers.
Or I guess she just does it her own. She can just fly back to her own head.
Yeah. Because I'm sure you don't have the golem set up to be like, by the way, you're also a prison, and that sounds like a bad idea. So you kind of like shake off of. Well, you put the golem back where it belongs, and then shake out of it and return back over to your body, and then as your body your eyes kind of open back up, Legbet goes ahead and ends that spell, returning you back to your Normal self.
Um, right away, she will thank Legba for his assistance.
Absolutely. I will follow up later
I have
on.
a lot of thinking to do.
Yeah, like, because I'm sure that telepathy is there, and there's some agitated bees going on in Theo's head right now, right? And so like the but does a quick check, like, are you okay? You're set, and then kind of withdraws and uh let me know if you need help, because that's Legba. And again, way more words. But Legba withdraws, and Theo is there with Lady Mechanica and Besnik and Ollie.
And I think she'll just stay there in the flickering firelight for a few hours, just smoking her pipe and staring at Lady Mechanica while she thinks about the first awakening is all about the soul. But there's much more to a mage than just their soul.
Mm-hmm.
I know changing your form and stuff is a life thing,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, at a certain level, a body is just matter, right?
From your perspective, no. Once
Okay.
it's deceased, and that is a fun little line to talk about, right?
Yes.
But yeah, like, no, it's still alive.
Oh. Do you remember that neat little combined spell I did back when we were doing Rilla's crazy adventure?
Which one?
Feign death and quicken corpse.
Did you make yourself a zombie? Was that it?
I made Ralph a zombie.
Right. Yes. Well, Legba.
Yeah,
Everybody,
Legba.
it's okay. Ralph is just fine.
That's right. Oh, Ralph is fine. But does that change the nature of the body?
I mean, technically, no. It just appears as if dead, and then you kind of puppeted him because it appeared as death. Yeah.
But for all intents and purposes, he was dead.
I mean, for in my head, this is where you get into like D&D, like illusion spells of like, I create the illusion of a bridge. Okay, if I don't disbelieve the illusion, I can walk on that bridge. Right. And it's just like,
Okay.
I have to ignore the fact that I totally know it's an illusion and walk out on that bridge. So there's some funny little things there, but yes, you did manage to do that one time. Yes.
Just a wild thought. What if I soul jarred my body?
And what, cut your soul out and then put it in as
No, just soul jarred my body so my soul stays here.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a one-way trip, though.
What do you mean?
Turning my body into matter. There's only one real way to turn my body into matter.
Yeah, that's because especially now that you have Death 5, I mean, technically you can deny the Reaper, but that's going to be an ongoing thing to maintain. To quote, the mage may return the recently dead to life, no matter how long the subject has been dead, minutes or hours. The soul has been moved on, and the subject immediately suffers soul loss. When the spell ends, the subject dies again. That's a thing to maintain for a long time.
But I mean, I could, if I have bound the soul, it doesn't pass on.
So that's one of those ones that you got to be real brave and real sure about your theorem before trying.
Yeah, I need to do some subject work first, but people might frown on that.
Yep. Yep. And there's a whole like squad of Moros all across the globe that are going, yup. There's this thing
So
that
much we could learn if they would just let us.
Well, and also we're afraid what doors that might open. Because that gets very left-handed very quickly. That gets very touched by the abyss very quickly.
Mm-hmm. I think she's just at a wall. There's something. It's not just a mind and a soul.
And there's the.
So why does it work when it's in her body? Like what? She can put her mind in another body and her soul in another body, and that should work fine.
It should, or at least based off of everything you understand. But there's some ephemeral 6 subtle arcana of self, right? We joke about the 11th arcana of Gun. There's some other arcana there, or some other nebulous thing that links everything together. I think mages would talk about your pattern and how things can get separated and put back together to make a self. You could even yoink somebody's soul out and then get somebody else's soul and put it in them, and they'll be fine. They're no longer soulless. Done. And it'll just sit there. It doesn't try to jump out.
Yeah, I think she's just going to be sitting with that for quite a while.
Yeah, I like that. I think we have the camera fade away. You know, the whole picture kind of fades down to just like darker and darker, and all we see is just the pipe and her face. Theo doing her best Gandalf impression, right? Probably not quite as long of a pipe, probably not quite as good smoke rings, but we draw back away. Love that. Okay.
So she's going to be like quiet and pensive for like weeks as she's, unless you have some other idea.
Oh no,
she's going to be thinking about this a lot.
Yeah, that's perfect. Actually,
I would go so far as to say that this is a new obsession.
Yes, yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was sounding like. So yeah, with a new obsession for understanding the parts of the pattern that are not the body, the mind, and the soul, but whatever is left that makes self. Because like mind, there goes the memories, so that's not there, and some of that is kind of the oneros, but that's also tied into the astral and parts of the soul. But do you need that? How do you study that? And so there's probably even been like a couple days where it's like, okay, jump into my own Euros
and just look. Identify what each piece is.
Yeah. Your daemon is there, looking hot and evil as always, leaned on her staff going, what are you doing? As like you're pulling chunks of wall out, like, what is this? So yeah, there's a couple weeks of just like chasing the obsession. I love the idea of it being an obsession. Catherine is, checking in and seeing how you're doing. And, I don't feel like Theo is like full on mad scientist, like withdrawn from the family kind of thing. But, it's an obsession and it's new. And I feel like it's
it's fully occupying her mind, which is not...
Exactly. Like you're sitting there, you're having pleasant conversation at like the dinner table, and you're interacting, but you are 1,000 miles away. Yeah, I love that. and just
Yeah,
digging.
when she's not actively working on it, she's thinking about it,
Right.
basically.
Obsession. Like, and I feel like this is
Mhm.
probably the first time we've seen any of the mages get this deep into an obsession. Everybody's like, I wonder about this. I want to try this. Theo is like deep end. Like all of
Mhm.
a sudden realizing, like, here's this thing. What is this? And like, you're a nameless order. You don't have archives to pull from. You don't have other
Mhm.
Moros to go chat with or anybody else. It's just Theo left to her thoughts, checking in with her daemon. Maybe talk a little bit with Legba about the nature of the Oneros and what it's built out of. And he's like, it's the astral.
Mhm.
It's just the soul. And it's like that's not.
No, there's more. There's
It's,
more.
um, and we pick up with Baba Sira doing her nightly rounds. Moving through the late summer purgatory bluff, walking, carefully, quietly, just probably not even thinking about knocking on a door. Like nobody has any real need. Like there's a couple candles out, but there are people asking for minor things or petty squabble kind of stuff that like none of you have ever gotten involved with.
Mhm.
And I dare say Catherine has started to punish people with minor ill fortune for putting out candles for childish things, I think.
Yeah.
Right. Very like she it it started as a joke being the school marm,
Mhm.
thing, and now she's like, you know what? Yeah.
And I just love that Catherine's leaning into the whole thing we've built.
Mhm.
It's awesome. It is great.
Yeah. And so Baba Sira walking and just like it's the whole like let me get a breath of fresh air, let me go walk outside while I'm thinking about this and see if something comes up. And as you are walking, get my notes here, um there is something that just kind of clicks. The idea that like the self is what connects you to the supernal, right? Like you had your soul ripped out and you were able to cast spells. Like we talk
Mhm.
about the soul awakening and stuff like that. You're
Yeah, it
awakened,
sucked,
right?
but I could still do it for at least a while.
Right. And if you were careful, probably an extended period of time, but you have to go all the way down to Thrall, at which point you're already at Gnosis 0.
Yeah.
Like that's a big time investment where you are just drained. But that entire time, you have no soul, still casting spells. Like, okay, so I don't actually need my soul to cast spells. Like, eventually it will stop me from casting spells, but I don't need it. My mind was separated from my body, could still cast spells, could feel the golem spell, feel your own self, your own sever the awakened soul spell. That's all separated. You know that you don't even need to be in this plane of existence. You've been to the underworld, you've been to the
Mhm.
shadow, you've been to the astral, can cast spells there. The entire time, though, the one constant is the self, right? Your pattern is the thing connecting you to the supernal. And so, and I'm putting this into Theo's head, right? Go ahead.
Is it, and maybe I'm barking wrong, is it that it's connecting us to the supernal, or is part of the supernal in us?
I like that. You're not sure, but it's
Because, like, if I'm in the underworld, there's no supernal connection to the underworld.
nope. I mean, Or is there? I mean, it kind of reflects, and it's something that you probably haven't really delved into. There's Stygia, which is the underworld, or sort of, kind of, and yeah. But I feel like this is the gears start turning, and you begin to. Well, if anybody else was watching Baba Sarah, which they're not, because everybody has the curtains closed, been turned away. The
And I think if the gears start turning, she just stops.
well, excuse me, sorry, because I wanted to read something to make sure I had read it
Okay.
correctly. If anybody was looking, Baba Sarah just disappears.
Oh.
For Baba Sarah, you continue, like, you have that momentary pause, and you're like, I think I'm onto something, and you continue walking in Purgatory Bluff. And then a door opens. One of the, I almost said villagers, but I mean, I guess that's right. The townspeople, the people of Purgatory Bluff, and somebody kind of pushes open a door and kind of looks out. Baba Sarah, do you need help? Can't really see who it is. They've got a little bit of little oil lamp light behind them. It's just kind of a little haloed female figure.
Officer can't help it. She just looks menacing in the dark. You risk a lot opening your door after dark.
I know, but you seem in need. Here, come inside.
Um,
And right there, Craig,
okay.
I'm going to need you to roll some save. Well, not saves. That's terrible. I need you to roll some resolve plus composure checks, and I need 15 successes, hopefully. You can spend willpower on these, and of course, you would be at full willpower because you've had plenty of rest.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And this is of 8, so. Whoops. Well, 1. Yeah, that's fine. 1 and 1. We'll count backward. Okay. Cool. Ooh, okay. Making much better progress now. It'll be close though. How much willpower did you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 12 and 3. So you have what? 1 more willpower left?
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like I should save it.
Up to you.
Make it rain.
Oh,
there we go.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. 18 and 2. You had plenty to spare.
So I was going to say, breaking character, I think Baba Sarah would coincide.
I like that. And so you make your way over, and as you get closer, we're going to draw on Craig's memory, perhaps, if not memory, innovation. Can you think of any gnarly paradox that you've created? I know there's been a couple because they've been bad enough that you've been rampant at least once. Excuse me, not rampant, megalomaniacal at least once.
I mean, there's that whole castle she built inside a mesa.
Yep. Yep. Um,
that
and
somebody's going to find sometime down in the future and wonder what the hell is this.
yep, because that's true. Because you guys closed it up, but I don't think
I
you
left it
actually.
there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, yep. So you uh, walk towards the door, and the woman, the female voice, kind of steps back into the home, and it's her, the mesa, the castle that you made, and that you basically ripped reality from your overreach and caused paradox to flood out. um and I guess technically it was more of an act of hubris, but I do
Mhm.
remember it being overreach. um and yeah, the 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 paradox that you caused is sitting there at a dinner table, a small table, really. Is everybody's got a table and that's it.
That's fair.
um
Yeah, yeah.
Along with other paradox that you've caused.
Um, I in my head, sort of among those, I think would be Velosia because her
Mm-hmm.
awakening caused a big one in her.
Yep.
Um, I think with her composure, Theo would just,
She's playing it cool.
yeah, this is the time to pay for what she's done. Is sort of
Yep, that's a very good read.
Mhm.
Less pay and more confront.
Well, deal
Hmm.
with what she's done.
Um, and they basically crowd around the table, and
It's
all.
a pretty crowded table.
Yeah, like if we consider the fact that Theo has been very okay playing with paradox and overreaching compared to many of the others, Legba, for instance, who has been
Mhm.
very, very controlled. Uh, for you, yeah, it's a crowded table, and as you sit down, the table gets a bit larger. You have a
And I just
very
want to say, I love that I'm looking at this woman, but I know it's the Mesa.
yes,
Yes.
um, and the table, as you sit down, the table grows way bigger than it should be to fit in here, and there's all sorts of numerous paradoxes that you've caused and you recognize. um and like I imagine it's you look to your right and there's the mesa and Valosia's awakening, all these different little things that you've caused by uh paradox, so inflicting it magic around sleepers or overreaching, any of that kind of stuff. And then as you turn and you can just see everybody and then kind of shift to your left, and here are things that you haven't seen before, and as you look you're like, no, these are things nobody has seen. Like for instance, your living husband,
Mm.
alive and well, smiling. He says, we're just here to help. You just put your hand out, reach out to us, and we can help you. We can give you anything you want. You see your son, alive, well, children, your grandchildren effectively, uh with him. And then
Mm.
beyond that, more things of unreality, right? Not just things that could have been, but things that just absolutely completely are not. The farther around the table you get, the more unreal and impossible these
One
things
might
are.
say anti-real.
correct. And that is what those rolls were for. That is you, Theo, recognizing and saying the paradox and what stuff you could do, inflicting paradox, causing these breaks in reality, and then the things, the antimony, I think is the term, spells where you draw on and invite paradox in to give yourself more reach. All these things that the abyss could give you. Just please, just reach out to us. And Theo going, I know what you are. No thanks. I see you. I accept that I have caused these hurts and these dangers. I'm not going to sign up and draw more. And for Craig's knowledge, because you got those 15 successes, you have not been doppelganger by an abyssal entity running around in your body.
That's good to hear.
Yep. So in my head, Theo is like, hi, nice to see you all. Thanks, no thanks, and kind of scoots back from the table and steps back.
I think she would say, while I can appreciate what you're offering, I need to do this myself.
I like that. Okay. Would you be so kind as to give me a resolve plus gnosis roll?
I should have saved a willpower. Come on, baby.
No problem. Nobody was worried. Because I saw you roll with Gnosis 5. I was like, technically that should be Gnosis 6. So I was like, we're good because we had the 2 successes. But if you rolled 0 success, I'd be like, could you roll 1 more die? Okay, good. So yes, as you kind of step back and out from the doorway, back out to Purgatory Bluff, but then you find yourself not in Kansas anymore. In fact, stepping out of the doorway, you are now standing nowhere. To your left is the shining sea of the astral and the Anima Mundi and the Temenos kind of splayed out in this great, amazing skyline, but also you're looking down at the mass of it, like looking side on to the Milky Way galaxy, right? It's just this impossible vision that you should not be able to see, because as you look down and around you, you are above, but that's impossible because it's the abyss. And then you turn to your right and see the supernal. You see Stygia and are pulled there. Well, no, less pulled, more pushed by yourself. And just the acceptance of, I am beyond this temptation. I am reaching farther. Not with the help of a watchtower or the oracle,
but
if you believe in them, but by me. And you set foot on Stygia, the supernal world, within the supernal realm. Folks, if you've ever read the books and you're like, why do they use the 2 words interchangeably? They're not interchangeable. It's supernal realm, and then there's the worlds, which are all just filters for perceiving it. So Baba Sarah sets foot on Stygia, sort of home, and it feels familiar. You know, it's been a long time since you've been here, and you summoned people and, well, entities from here, but now you're coming back under your own power, and there is no lustrum. you are about to be unmade because mortals, people, do not come to the supernal and continue to exist. But with your Gnosis plus Resolve, you put your feet down and you say, "This is mine." And it's a small little space, small defined as by your perceptions.
Sure. I mean,
And
it's a small part of the infinite, so
exactly. And here you have your, I'm going to make sure I use the right term, but I believe it's the Centimani, which is effectively your foothold in the supernal. And it radiates back and takes on symbols of Baba Sarah. So if you like to take a little moment here and just kind of be like, what are like, the big symbols that represent Baba Sarah, with a big capital S.
um, Bobasar is an advocate for the dead. She is a protector. Not so much a guardian. I think guardian is more combative. Bobasar prefers to be a little more subtle in how she protects things and more preventative than
Mm.
reactive. But I think that's the much of what she is. But she's also like a crafter who loves the feel of materials in her hands. She loves to make things for others, but it's the joy of the making is more the thing for her.
So in my mind, and feel free to join me here,
Mhm.
what we have is this great workplace. Like Stygia is this crumbling, building, shifting underworld. And here is a dark, cozy corner of it, right? Wherein,
Cozy for Theo.
sure, right.
Everyone else would be like gothic horror, but Theo's like, "Oh, this is great."
Yeah. Every goth ever goes, "Yep, I get that. Yeah, put some skulls on it. Absolutely. We're cozy." And yeah, you have like a great workshop. Not like Theo's lab, but like um a place of earnest industry, lowercase I, right? Not some great, mechanized, uh, uh, well, we're
If I may, in my head,
absolutely.
it's like sort of a Grecian temple of
Yes.
productivity
Yes, 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 yes.
and
Wherein,
open air, and yeah.
yeah, wherein stand people, but skeletal and ghostly, but also not. This blend of all three, because all three are people, right? There's living people, there's the
Mhm.
skeletal dead, and then there's ghosts, and the three are there smithing and working away. They're just empty husks and shells, but they represent things, and forging away at the things people need. Right? This isn't some grand workplace of war, right? But you are making things that people need. Yeah, they're forging away and coming away with clothing. They're forging away and creating, you know, excuse me, homes, right? Things like that, where the things people need. And I love the idea of protecting rather than guardian, right? The idea of like, I'm going to make sure you're safe rather than I'm out being Isabel fighting
Mhm.
something.
Yeah,
The two dynamics, and as you kind of exude this will and like, this is my space.
and I just got there has to be the necropolis has to be there somewhere too.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
and maybe it's in the distance or
right?
something,
Yeah,
but
that's what I was gonna say. It's off kind of there. in the twinkling in this, or heck, it's behind you, right? It's not like you turn and it's not there, but it's back there, right? It's just kind of looming. And you are confronted with the challenge of the supernal. You've already rolled it. You're safe. It's okay. But more the narrative aspect of it, wherein you have effectively the local supernal beings stepping forth, and you, now that you have stepped into Arc Mastery, are effectively a nascent supernal being, right? Because that's what Ascension truly is becoming, that supernal being. And so they've come around to see who's in the neighborhood. And I imagined, especially up against your protectorship and the making of things, which is very, very Moros, which is very, very Theo, but this is Stygia, where things break down and transition. And while what you bring here is not of Stygia, it is, not necessarily all of Stygia, if that makes sense. And yes, like, you don't even see the entity, the supernal being, so much as looking at the open air temple workshop, and the marble and stone start to crack and darken, and weeds grow up and start splitting stone, and just time and age and decay starts to inflict itself upon where you're working. And this is entirely narrative. How does Theo confront that? Or rather, resolve that?
I think that Theo has always been one to honor the transitions. So I think as this temple starts to wear down, she just builds a different one.
It's like, I will yield this one to you.
Well, yeah, and this is a place of honor, and we respect the transition that's happened here and the work that is done here, and this is where we're moving forward.
I like that. It's not that you're avoiding it. It's not that you're fighting it. It's just being like, okay, this one is done. That's fine. We can move on to this one over here and continue. Because even in that, you are accepting this place is this open, barren, Stygian land, and we're going to build on it, and we are going to transition it into something of productivity, of emptiness and nothing to productivity and nothingness that will then again yield to decay and nothingness into something new. I love that. That's great. And I imagine there's like, actually, no, I don't imagine there's like, there is now, as you stand there, this golden road beneath your feet. Looking back, you can see it cross through the abyss, through the anima mundi, back to the material plane, having made your golden road. And on one side here, you have this workshop that is still active, but is decaying and starting to wear, right, and fall. And then over here you have another workshop that is currently being worked on, and some people are doing work in it, but it's got scaffolding up and it's being built up, and you have these two halves balanced over your golden road. As you step and create your Sentimani. I did get that right. Sintamani, maybe. And have your foot in the supernal realm. You have this thing here. You are here. You are in the supernal. And I will also ask, as I've asked the others, when you first awakened, you gotta Phoenix down. You gotta revive. You got to live. And if I remember correctly, no, Isabel has a scar.
Yeah, it's a scar too.
Okay, yeah, you both do. That's right. You have the scar from dying.
You're shot in the heart. Yeah.
Right, yeah. It's Isabel got zapped by lightning later with Alphoth. That's right. So you realize, standing there on the Golden Road, that the body you stand in is not the body you left with. The body that nobody saw disappear out of Purgatory Bluff is gone. So you are standing here in the supernal realm where matter does not exist, but you have a body. Has your body changed in any way? To quote the book, to give you an idea, the character example here feels the lustrum failing and wills himself back into the fallen world, which we haven't done yet, chasing his newfound road back through the abyss as he creates a body, a perfected mortal form to house his transcendent consciousness. So I don't know that there's any grand change that Baba Sera has, but there's this moment of change.
Yeah. Is this going to be with her all the time?
Until
Or
you
just when
figure
she's
out.
here?
Well, no, because this is, like I said, you are here in the supernal realm where you don't actually have a body. You are just in some kind of form.
I'm kind of creating it from scratch almost.
When you go back to the fallen and back to home, yeah, you will create a new body. Like I said, I don't know that Baba Sera would have one, but this is also the moment where it's like, for instance, the scar is gone, right?
Yeah,
to represent
the scar is gone. I think she looks younger. Much more, I think, like her daemon appears.
I wonder how Catherine is going to feel about this. There's because like in my head, your daemon looks the way she does because she still has striking looks, right? Which is something that Theodosia has stepped away from, right? And you are welcome to describe. We're not giving the striking looks back.
She was effectively aging faster physically,
or letting herself age. Kind of
leaning into the transitioning and decaying and getting older and that kind of thing. But I think this is a new this is a new beginning.
To clarify, because I just realized, are we talking about Theodosia or Baba Sera?
I think Baba Sera. I think Theo feels more Baba Sera now than she has ever felt before.
Sure.
And I feel like Theodosia is kind of diminishing in her
Theodosia
awareness.
has become the mask, Bruce Wayne-esque.
Yeah.
So Baba Sera is looking more like her daemon. Theodosia probably looking a little younger. The scar is gone, but probably not like a dramatic shift because, and that's what I'm clarifying just for future reference.
I think the gray is gone from her hair and that kind of thing. She's a little thinner. I know I'm probably committing to artwork, but
no, we're not.
I think this is a new beginning, and her form would reflect that.
Gotcha.
This is a huge transition. It needs to be marked and honored.
Yeah,
in Theo's mind.
I like that. So Unlike the others, we will continue forward just a little bit.
Sure.
And Babasira suddenly is standing in Purgatory Bluff, right where she left. But now I feel less crone-like and more maiden.
More Morticia Adams. More
Okay,
like,
yeah. We can do that. I was thinking Mother Maiden Crone, but yes, Morticia.
yeah.
I'm on board. We haven't gone full Elvira like her Damon, but we're
No.
uh, and so I imagine less hunched.
Mhm.
The
And no cowl, like her hair
Okay.
is free.
the skull cane is still there, but it's accessory, not I'm leaning on it.
Yeah.
Lantern probably held more up high than crouched
Yeah,
in.
she's definitely much more upright, shoulders back,
Yep.
head held high kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that. And suddenly, yeah, you're back in Purgatory Bluff, looking about. Nothing else has changed except for Babasera.
But in a lot of ways, everything has changed.
A lot. Because you now have Gnosis 6 and Death 6.
My character sheet doesn't do death.
I know. Literally every one of you has said the same thing, and I love it. It's like, wait, but how do I? Yep. You'll just have to remember that you have it. But yeah, and I'll update before everybody in chat starts screaming. Yes, the overlays will change. They will be updated. But I imagine you kind of complete your rounds, and make your way.
Yes, because the ritual is important.
And
it also gives her time to think about what she's going to tell Catherine.
Yep. Well, and especially because for you, like there is a new level of consciousness. Like, well, not consciousness. That's wrong. New level of understanding. Gnosis 6, Death 6, which to remind you, oh my gosh, I had these all bookmarked and now I've lost it. Now you have imperial spell factors, so things like area, where previously you had been limited to like a campus size. It's now a 2-mile radius, and then where it used to be capped, now you can increase reach. And this is be kind of tweaking and playing with. Imperial rules has, you have successes that you had to accumulate. In this case, it's more penalties. But you double the radius every 2. So it's like, 2-mile radius, 4-mile radius, 8-mile radius.
16.
Reaching out and really slapping hold of stuff. And that's just on like regular spells. Like these are available to technically they say here for imperial practices, but there's some tweaks and we'll talk about it more later. I'm getting sidetracked. Scroll. 6 dots is the practice of dynamics, which with death as an example, destruction of mana whenever a spell is cast in an area as an example spell, or spells that alter all ghostly anchors meeting certain conditions specified, or going down and altering the rivers of the underworld. These are the grand changes that are available to Babasera. Now, they are imperial practices, so they require quintessence, and they require a little bit more effort to work up. And for like all dynamic spells, I can just bypass mage armor or other defensive magics with a spell. So if you're like, I want to say sever the awakened soul, but without any concerns, now technically you win all clashes anyways, but they might withstand it. Okay, I'm just going to bypass all your withstand and all your wards that you've put up, and I'm just going to strike your soul. Yep. Of course, if you go on matter instead, one of the examples is the creation of a puron, a substance that has whatever properties it requires according to what it's being used for.
Mhm.
Yeah, lots of fun stuff. I look forward to telling Ash that, well, depending if she goes forces, nuclear cascade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, lots of fun stuff. But yeah, so we make our way through Purgatory Bluff, back down across the bridge, and putting away the cane and lamp. Because that's not the thing you just walk into the house with. Actually, do you leave some of that stuff in like the lab?
Yeah.
Okay, because with matter you could do some little hidden kind of stuff,
Right.
anyways.
No,
But
the cane she keeps with her, right? But
true.
she keeps the lantern in the lab.
Yep. And step inside, quiet, kind of ghosting into your own house. Valosia asleep, and Catherine, I imagine, used to like read by, lamp or something like that. But these days she just relies on mage sight, and just by happenstance, wherever she sits, there's just enough light, just by
Moonbeam
happenstance.
happens to come in, and
Yep. It's like it's just way more convenient. The clouds never. Yeah. And she kind of looks up at you because I imagine you still look like Baba Sarah. And she closes the great big stone tome, and like it is probably the most like penetrating gaze that you've ever dealt with. Something happy pride. Chris wasn't here, it had to be done. And I think you feel the like sensation of focus mage sight, which is
I'm just standing there and letting her.
yep. Because you feel the flow of mana, because that is what focus mage sight ends up doing. Is I'm going to manipulate mana and move it about through your pattern, and she kind of sits back and kind of reaches over and pats the bed beside her and says, "What did you do?" Like there's no like concern. There's a hair of concern and a lot of curiosity. And I think that, I mean, if you want to get a little ending line here, but I think that's where we fade.
I have some amazing things to tell you.
She nods and pats the bed. Like she's looking at you. It's like, okay, you seem happy. You seem like you, which I mean, she has very rudimentary of time, which for Arc Mastery, as far as she's seen, you've always been an Arc Master, but she knows she has memories that you weren't. But fate, that still looks like everything that is you. And yeah, it's like, okay, sit and tell me about it. I think we, have
The black from there is probably
where it's just like, okay, what have you seen? What have you gone through? And I think that's a good place for us to stop. Man, I'm looking forward to these next episodes. We got one vignette left, folks, and then we'll be able to, all the players will be able to find out what happened to their characters. It's always fun because we get to this stage and it's like, oh yeah, what happened to the other characters? Well, yeah, it'll be interesting. We have the one left, and then we'll jump back into the consequences of Arc Mastery, and then on to fight the God Machine, or claim it, or dismantle it, or
I mean, we wouldn't want all that effort to go to waste.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I know you and me, man, the Silver Ladder were like, listen, it already exists. All those people suffered for it. It would be a shame to just do nothing with it. Yeah. little devil on your shoulder. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, exactly.
So thank you all for joining us. If you want to support us monetarily, that's www.staylucky.club. Again, totally not necessary. None of us rely on that for anything. It's just spending cash and equipment upgrades and art.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to hang out with us, chat with us, we very much welcome you. Even if you're seeing this way in the future and like they're still not around, we're probably still going to be around. www.yeetinto.space. How many times have I said that thing? Yeah. The Discord is awesome. Bring all your stuff in, your mage stuff, your Chronicles of Darkness stuff, your D&D stuff, your Daggerheart stuff, because I want to hear what y'all are thinking about Daggerheart, or Star Trek Adventures 2nd Edition, which I need to go pick up. Wink, wink, Craig. Put me in my spaceship and let me actually shoot. Let me fire phasers! Fire photon torpedoes! Yeah, we'll see y'all next time.